All right, Acadiana, joining me on the set is Dr. Scott Hamilton.
Good morning.
Good morning. Here to talk about an interesting topic. I've never heard it explained the way you explain it, but it's definitely a real thing. It's fever phobia.
Yeah, pediatricians write articles about parents, and they have coined this term, fever phobia, where parents are afraid when their kid gets a fever that something very bad is happening.
Now, what are some of the fears that parents have?
Yeah, so they're afraid their baby's brain's going to cook if it gets too hot.
Ooh.
They're afraid if it gets so high, it's going to get so much higher that they're going to get even sicker. They're afraid high fevers mean you're sicker. And they're afraid their baby's going to have a seizure with a fever if it goes too high. So they come into the emergency department, and I hear oftentimes, my baby had a cough runny nose, I was okay, then he had a fever, so it was 101, so then I started rushing to the ER. And then I talk about the things we're about to talk about now, about how it's not an emergency.
Well, before we get into that, exactly what is a fever? Because I know we have our own idea of what it could be.
Yeah, people think it's a bad thing happening to your body. No, fever is your body's natural reaction to infection. Your body senses when you have an infection in you, and as a thermostat in the back of your brain that says, okay, set higher, because when your body's hot, it's harder for infections to grow in you, and your immune system has a chance to get on top of the infection. So, and when you want to make a fever quickly, your body shivers to make all your muscles contract and generate heat. So shivering before you have a fever is how you generate heat quickly. So it's a natural process. Animals do it, have fevers, and they survive if they have a better fever ability. So it's a natural thing. It's good for you when you have an infection.
Wow. Okay. So talk to me about what parents should do if their child has a fever.
Don't panic. Okay, sure, we give ibuprofen and Tylenol, help us feel better, but mainly, don't panic. This is not an emergency. Bad things aren't happening when your child has a fever. A higher fever isn't bad. So what's more important than the fever is how you're acting with the fever. If you're breathing comfortably, if you're drinking and staying hydrated, then you're doing okay. And baby's going to be tired with the fever, but as long as they wake up and drink some and are with it, then you're doing okay. Yeah, again, give ibuprofen and Tylenol, help you feel better. You feel rotten when you have a fever. And again, don't panic.
Now I have a question, because now I'm interested. The way you're explaining it, it sounds like fever, so you mentioned your body's body reacting and heating up to prevent it from growing.
For infections are hard to grow in you.
Right.
So your immune system has a chance to get on top of the infection.
So why do they normally say we're going to give you medicine to bring the fever down?
Yes, and that seems okay, here. We're partly treating fever phobia, so the parents feel better. And the kids feel better, too. I mean, you have a headache, too, and you feel achy when you have a fever and those illnesses. So we do have dosing charts for babies. This Ochsner Lafayette General's dosing chart for how much to give your baby by their weight. And, we have syringes to measure stuff up, and you get your bottle of your ibuprofen, your Tylenol. And there is a faction in pediatrics that says maybe we shouldn't be aggressive with this stuff because, again, it helps fight infection. But people want their kid to feel better. They're whining and miserable in the middle of the night, and it feels bad. So we do treat it. No one has done the study that treating it makes your kid sicker for longer. No one knows that yet.
So the treatment is basically for symptoms, to help with those
symptoms and to help you feel better. It's not going to make your child magically better. In fact, the fever is what's part of it, helping you make your child magically better.
So that's good. They do not have to panic, and they do not have to have
And
fear.
it's going to be a lot. We're seeing
Phobia.
flu, we're seeing RSV, we're seeing COVID, we're seeing strep. See a lot of fever this time of year. Don't panic.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Scott Hamilton, for that great information. Where can they go to find more of that?
So I have a column in the Acadian Advocate every Sunday to talk about all these things, how to keep your kid out of the ER. And I just also discovered, if you put in your search engine in your computer, KLFY Scott Hamilton, you're going to see these videos, especially our Thanksgiving video was our little home theater thing. So KLFY Scott Hamilton, and you'll see all these segments about how to keep your kid out of the ER.
All right. We'll be right back.